Alright, hello world, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to start a little brief project before we jump back into movie web app. So as you can see from the title here, we're gonna create a Wikipedia search. Alright, it's a really simple website that's gonna be built from Flask, which is a micro web framework that's developed in Python. That we can use. So let's go ahead and get started. So all of the functionality that this search is going to take is it's gonna basically taking an answer. We're not taking a search query from the user and then display all the relevant article from Wikipedia. Use relevant bullet point. So let's go ahead and get started then. So this can also be like a beginner-friendly tutorial or video. There's probably some error that we need to debug, so stay tuned for that. And if you don't know anything about Flask, it's also a great way to start by building a simple Wikipedia search project. So the first thing is obviously we need to import Flask. All right, we'll import Flask like this, right? So we import a Flask class, and then we need to create a new Flask app like so, right? App equals Flask parenthesis name. Okay, so this is gonna be our main search API that's I found out. Pretty easy. So in here, what we can do is we can write this. So Flask is built by routes, right? Different routes by different routes of different websites. And then different routes will lead to different functions, and different function will do different things, right? So let's go ahead and write this. We can write at app.route. To create a new route, we will say at app.route, parenthesis, and instead of parenthesis is a pass, right? So since this is going to be really pretty a simple Flask app, it's just going to have the index route, or just a slash. That's also like the home page. And then I could define as index and a function under it. So this is like a decorator, and this is the actual function under it. Good. So now I have this index function defined, and now we can start use based on this API definition. All right. So let's try this actually. Search a title or text. Right? Search a title or text. So that's gonna be how the response is gonna be. All right. Interesting. Okay, so that's gonna be how we can do it. We can literally just copy it, but we will need to modify something. So I'm also gonna import another library called requests. Now what this request is going to do is it's literally just gonna make a request the API from Wikipedia. So what is API? API is the application programming interface. It's basically provided by a third-party library that you can use different ways to fetch their information. And request is a library that's commonly used to fetch web APIs in Python. All right. So in here we have requests done. Let's go ahead and let's see. So that's our URL, right? URL param. All right. So in here we're gonna define a couple constant variable. So our URL, that's where the search query will be, right? en.wikipedia.org/w/cpa.php. Good. And the reason it's all capped because it's a constant variable. It's not gonna change. And then in here we actually will do this. We're actually gonna say also import request from Flask. Note that these two are completely different. Requests is for managing your access to like a third-party library, while request, meanwhile, is managed within your Flask app. It's managed within different functionality with your Flask app. One of our example that we're going to use for request is to be able to get a user's information or user type from like a form for example. So in here, we're just going to say this. If not request .args.getQ, we're going to come back to that in a bit. And then we're just going to say return, and we're also going to import render template. What is render template? Well, render template is basically a way to render HTML content, right? Render HTML files. And then we're just going to say index.html. So you will need to create a new folder, and we'll call it templates. And so templates, you will need to create a file called index.html. Right, like so. Easy peasy. And then we can use emit to just get some built-in code here. For the sake of, since this is really just a basic app, we're not gonna really, make import bootstrap and all stuff like that. So in here we can just say home or Wikipedia search. Just say search Wikipedia. All right. So in here we can write this, right? We can write this. So let's say form and then okay, so method is get. So if you're unfamiliar with form, and there are generally two types of form that you will write in HTML. One is with method get, and one is with method post. The only difference, or one of the major difference between get HTTP request and post HTTP request is get is in a case like form, it doesn't encrypt anything. Like you just send the information and you can see the information type in the URL, which you're gonna demonstrate that in a bit. But post is generally when you are submitting username and password, right? Don't want it to be just appended to the end of URL because that would be ridiculous since literally anybody can see your username and password and you don't want that to happen. So it's not going to be encrypted. So it's not going to be appear on the URL, but it's going to send to the server in a more quote unquote secure and encrypted way. All right. So now I have this form up, and now we can just specify input. It's going to be a text. Name is important because that's how we can actually get the query. So you're going to say name equals Q for query, and we can say placeholder is query, right? And then I can say input type equals submit. And just submit it. All right, sweet. Yeah, perfect. So since I'm using this online IDE, I need to add the following code. If name underscore name underscore equals underscore main underscore. This is just make sure that the following code only run when I run main.py directly, right? So in here I can say app.run 0.0.0.0 3000. So don't worry about this information here. This is just for this online ID to configure, right? Let's see if our Flask app will be able to run. Perfect, it works. So let's open it up and take a look what we have here. All right, sweet. Looks like we have a little query here that we can submit. Sweet. All right, so now in here what we can do is we can really just keep implementing them. So now come back. So let's try to submit and see what's going to happen. Okay, great. So we see the first thing is you can see that whatever I typed is sent to here, right? Sent to here so you can see it in the browser or in the URL. And second, I got a type error. The reason we got a type error is because I said if not request.args.get Q. That means if Q is not, we didn't receive any information about query, then we just display this form, right? Just display this form. We don't have anything else to do. So for now, if it's otherwise, what we want to do is we really want to get the information, right? We want to, if we do have Q with this query, then we want to really just perform the search, right? So let's go ahead and say data equals requests dot get URL, and we can then let's see. So we need to copy this part I'm gonna just put it here because search page is not a constant. Like so. Params. And then, and here, what we can do is we can say return render template, and then we can write results.html, and basically it's another HTML file that we can render. And in here, notice how I have a dictionary, another dictionary here. The reason I have another dictionary is so that I can pass, actually I can literally pass information from the server script, from this Python to HTML file. And then can actually write some pseudo Python code in HTML file to be able to render stuff how I wanted, right? So that's called Jinja. We'll get into that in a bit. And in here, I can just say data is data.json. Let's create new templates, and let's call it results. Let's wait to load. Oh, okay. All right, so that's how it looks. Good. All right. So let's take a look. All right. So that's gonna be the response, right? So how we're gonna render is this. So Wikipedia search. So this is a really cool thing about Flask because we can pass information to the server. So in here we can say result for query for, and then we can put in quotes. And let's see. So why don't we? So we might need to pass another information from the script. Well, let's also pass a query result. Right, because a queue is request.args.get queue. Perfect. So basically, let's go run this again. And let's go ahead and refresh our page. So ideally what we should see is render templates taken. Oh, I made a mistake. Sorry. I messed up with Django. So actually I think I need to say this in Flask. So we need to say yeah, so that's kinda how we say it, how we express it. Now return the templates and do whatever. So basically, these are keyword arguments, right? Data is the data.json, Q is whatever the query is. Let's go try again. See what's gonna happen. Alright, let's make sure we can run it again. Sometimes a little bit slow. I'll do a refresh of the page. Hopefully it can load soon. We can give it a second. Alright. Sweet. Press run. Wait for it to update on the package configurations. Alright. So yep, perfect. So now you can see result for whatever query here. Great. So now I actually need to just parse the query. Right? So now it's where we can use Jinja. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to use unordered list. Display all the results. So unordered list, that's also known as bulleted list. Bullet list. Alright, so in here we can say for what's that? For S in oh my god. Okay, for S in data bracket quotation mark query quotation mark search quotation mark no. That's all we need to do. So basically this is just a for loop, right? It's similar to for loop in Python. Basically loops through this dictionaries, all these information we can use. And I can write href, right? I can say s brackets. Where's the link? Oh, it does not have the link. Oh. Yeah, does it not have... Let's take a... Alright, apparently it doesn't have the link, so it's a little bit more complex then. Let's see. We want to get the URL for a passage. Alright, I'm gonna open up a new incognito. Let's do this. Get Wikipedia. Say get Wikipedia article URL by ID. Okay. Can also use a Wikipedia. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Ah. Okay, I guess this works. So it could use ID as expected. So in here, we need to say S bracket page ID. I think. Let's take a look at the response. Yep, page ID. And then this will be the title, right? This will be the title. And I think we're all good. Let's take a look. All right, let's go ahead and search. What query do you think we should search? Let's search Python. Let's see what we get. Good. That looks good. Ooh, shoot. I forgot to actually wrap them into a ordered list. Here we go. Alright, so now let's refresh the page. Alright, so now they have extra. They didn't do href in. That's how I do href, right? Yeah, something like that, I think. Let's refresh the page. Just take a look. Alright. Sweet. Now we have all the article. If you click on one of them, and we get redirected to a appropriate page. Perfect. So yeah, this is a simple Flask app that we built. Yeah, basically we practice some requests, make some API access APIs, did some Googling, but yeah, that's this is to build a pretty simple Flask app using and interacting with Wikipedia API. But yeah, if you have any questions or comment, feel free to comment down below. As always, stay safe and have a great rest of your day. I will see you in the next video. That was me, out.